Now that we've added some syndromes, we can go through symptoms and mark down the ones that are most important for this case. And you do that by clicking on the symptom and then highlighting it or prioritizing it. And this will help you sort of sort through everything, as there may be a lot of symptoms. This client also mentioned hair loss and balding, so I'm going to just add that here and highlight it or prioritize it. Obviously, we're going to prioritize gastrointestinal bleeding. I only added a few symptoms in this case for testing reasons, but in a typical case, you might have 50 different symptoms or points of imbalance, and you want to highlight the ones that are most important so you don't get lost. That'll actually help you when you're creating syndromes as well. All right, so we've added all of our symptoms, and we've prioritized some of them. And I'm going to click on actions here, this plus sign, to look at actions. And now I'm going to select herbal actions that would be good for this client. So here I'm selecting nutritive. I think tonic would be good. Hair growth tonic, um, skin tonic. These would all be helpful herbal actions for this client case. And let's go down to pungent intense in digestion, anti-inflammatory. Sounds good. Now this box is popping up because we have both pungent and tense in the syndrome, in the imbalance. So anti-inflammatory is particularly going to be good for the sharpness in the system. And then we want to look at antispasmodic. Looks helpful for tension in the system. All right. And finally, down here, we can look at cold in the red blood cells. And what do we want to add here? Here we might want to add some pungency, but not really. I think a blood tonic would be better because we don't want to add more pungency and aggravate the gastrointestinal bleeding. So we might think that if there's cold in the red blood cells, we might add a blood tonic. Or alternatively, we might want to, well, it's not going to be stagnancy for a Vata Pitta client. So yeah, okay, so we've added some actions. We can add some avoids here. We obviously want to avoid coffee, which would be a common irritant if the client has both sharpness and tension in the GI. So that seems like an important one to avoid. And then let's see what we want to favor. If there's any particular herbs that we think or foods that we think would be helpful in this case. Well, rose petals might be helpful for gastrointestinal bleeding. That sounds nice as a hemostatic. Marshmallow root too would be nice and soothing. So those two look good. Mangista, um, maybe not. Wild yam for IBS. So those seem to be some good recommendations for pungent and tense in digestion. We can think of some other foods that might be particularly helpful and search for them here if we want. I think even something like lemon balm might be helpful, or corn silk as an anti-inflammatory. So we could use the suggestions, or we can type in our own on top.